Today, on Be Something Wonderful, how 99.99999% of your desired reality is already manifested. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. In yesterday's video, I talked about when unwanted realities show themselves. And I used an example that if you're in a reality now, if you're identifying with financial abundance, if that's who you are now, and you get a big credit card bill or a pile of bills, that those bills, that credit card, that situation, that event becomes proof of your new reality. It becomes proof of who you no longer are. Why? How is that? Because you're no longer reacting to those types of events in the same old way. So you're not the same old identity and you're not in the same old reality anymore. That's why it's proof that you have moved. It's more than that. Remember, that credit card bill that you just received, or that pile of invoices or debts, that represents 0.00001% of already manifested reality. And you are no longer that. You are mostly that 99.9, you are all of that 99.99999% of that invisible realm. You're all energy, you're all potential. And in fact, look at it this way. That 0.0001% that manifested, this means that other 99.99999% is already manifested. And when you remove your attention from that 0.0001%, you will see more of that already manifested reality, more of your desired reality. This is big. Let's unpack this. So the subscriber asked a great question. When you say use that overdue credit card bill as proof you've moved to a new reality, what do you mean? Well, this is what I mean. We use all unwanted events and conditions as evidence that you have moved to a new reality by not reacting in the same old way. Why is it evidence? Because you are, that's only 0.00001% of who you are or who you were. You are now that 99.999%. You're more of that. That's what we're talking about here. And a great method to do that is say, I remember when. I remember when I used to react. You're looking at your credit card bill. You could say it right there. I remember when this would really get me riled up. This would really get me feeling in a state of terror or panic or lack or debt. But now I'm a different person. I'm in a different reality. I'm a new me. These negative events show you where you have been focusing your attention, not where you're focusing your attention now. It's just evidence of who you were, not who you are now. Hear that. And so embrace those realities. It's part of the 100% of who you are. Right? But you're not, but you have moved, right? It just tells you where you've been focused. That is on the realities that are not in alignment with who you are now. That just tells you the realities that you have been focusing on, the realities that those unwanted realities who you no longer are. That's big in who you desire to be now. Right? Now you know who you are. You're identifying with that new reality. This is big. Let's unpack this a little bit more. So when you desire something, if you stay in desiring, you stay staring at that 0.0001% of manifested reality that you don't want. Right? Because what is desiring? Desiring is a state of unfulfillment. You're not fulfilled. You're wanting something other than the 0.0001% of manifested reality. That's what it implies. So you've got to move from desiring to aligning. Aligning with what? Aligning with that 99.9999% of that invisible reality that is already manifested. You just can't see it. Remember, you're excluding 99.9999% of who you really are through your physical senses, through your beliefs, through your thoughts, through your feelings. You can't see it when you're focused here, right? Identify with your desired reality as your desired reality. Then you start seeing more and more of that 99.99999% of who you really are. Your desires don't come to you, but they come through you. They come from you. This is one of the things that we get stuck on. We're looking for something to come to us from the outside world when they're really coming from you, from within you. And so as you keep focused, we're so fascinated by that 0.0001% of manifested reality that we let it dictate and direct who we are and who we're being. Instead, dictate the 0.001% what you want that to be, right? By creating that inner state with mostly of who you are, that 99.9999% of who you are, right? Remember, all that is inclusive, right? So when you look at the 0.0001% and you want to exclude it, you want to get rid of it, you want to change it, whenever you resist that, you're including it. Infinity is inclusive. God is inclusive. All that is inclusive. So whatever you put your attention on, whether it's resistance or desire, that attracts it, right? Now, if you desire something and without resistance, then that becomes your reality. You identify with it, right? But if you desire something from the standpoint that I don't have it or that I lack it, then you attract that lack. Do you get this, guys? By trying to exclude things or realities you don't want, you include them in your experience. Excluding is aligning, hear this. Excluding is aligning with unwanted realities. Wow. It's an inclusive universe. What does that mean? Put your attention on what you want, right? It's when you put your attention without the resistance, without the needing it, without the having to have it to be fulfilled. Right? And then it must be yours, right? Excluding is aligning with unwanted realities. Let's unpack this a little bit more. Be an includer of what you want versus an excluder of unwanted realities. That's what keeps that. You're focused on what you want to exclude, that 0.0001% of what you don't want. Instead, you include it, and it becomes your only reality. In the meantime, what you're really excluding is what you really want. That 99.9999% are excluded or filtered or blocked through your beliefs and feelings and assumptions, right? When you resist something and label it as unwanted and try to avoid it or get rid of it, you include it, right? It means you believe in it as a reality. Hear this. I think one of you were talking about, well, Tom, I don't believe in the pandemic, so why do I have to suffer from it? Or why do I have to suffer the consequences of it? Well, just from that mere sentence, you believe in it. You may not agree with it. You may not want it in your reality, but through your resistance, through your desire to exclude it, you live it, you attract it. Do you hear this, right? Simply noticing unwanted realities doesn't necessarily include or exclude them. I made this point yesterday with the unwanted. I really want to hit this again. Simply noticing unwanted realities or that your desire is not here yet, which I talked about yesterday, doesn't necessarily include them or exclude them, right? You're just noticing them, right? It's your attention to either through resistance or desire that includes or excludes them into your experience. Do you hear that? It's you noticing it's not there and then railing against it, resisting against it, creating that reality, right? It's your attention either through resistance or desire that includes or excludes them in your experience. In other words, if you desire something without the resistance of needing it or wanting it to be or having to have it to be fulfilled, without the importance, right? The need, the craving, then it's yours. Or you're excluding it, or you're resisting it and trying to exclude it, trying to get rid of it. Either way, you get it all. Right? This is big. So it's not that you are not focusing on your desire enough in imagining what you feel. Some of you go, well, what other methods can I do? What other processes can I do to get this to come? None of that's necessary. That's not where the issue is. God knows your desires. They've been heard. They've been embraced. Right? That infinity knows what you want. So it's not that you're desiring it enough. It's that you don't lack desire. Right? As Abraham Hicks talks about, you have enough in your vortex of desires to last eternal lifetimes. Right? She says 30 or 40 or 100, whatever it is. Right? Rather, here's the issue. Rather, it's your resistance. It's your resistance you're holding on to that doesn't allow the good to flow to you. It's only that resistance that you're holding on to. I think one of you pointed out on the channel yesterday, it's holding on to that unwanted reality. That's exactly it. You're holding on to that 0.0001%. And you're not allowing that 99.9999% to flow to you. So it's not that you lack desire, or God hasn't heard you, or that you have to do more processes to show that you really want it. We know, God knows, the infinity knows, the universe knows what you want. It's releasing that resistance, releasing that point, your fixation, your fascination, right, with that 0.0001% of manifested reality. So it's your resistance you're holding on to that doesn't allow the good to flow to you by trying to exclude lack or other unwanted realities. So here it is. You're trying to exclude that 0.0001%. You're trying to exclude unwanted realities. You don't want what you're looking at, right? We use that museum example, right, in a few videos where you're walking around in a museum and there's art that you don't like. You're in a room where you don't like the artwork and you call the museum director and say, remove this artwork, I don't like it. Where the museum director goes, why don't you just move to a room where there's art that you do like? Do you hear this? It gets insane, right? You're trying to exclude lack or other unwanted realities, right? Lack is an unwanted reality. That's the resistance, right? Think of it this way, and this is big. 99.9999% of your desired reality is created and done before you see any evidence of it in 3D reality. It's all done. It's all done. It's only you trying to get rid of something you don't want or trying to get rid of the state of lack that you think you have that keeps you in that state, in that 0.0001% of unwanted reality. The 99.999% is all queued up, all done. Creation's finished, all waiting for you to see it, perceive it, and receive it. Allow it in, right? So you're not going to. So you're looking for the evidence, but you are the evidence, right? It's the resistance that's keeping you from seeing that, right? It's only that 0.001% of resistance. That's all it is. It's not even a lot of resistance. Hear this. This is big. So the resistance is only 0.0001% of all that is. You're just going to let that go. But what happens? We create this in our imaginations, right? Using our imaginations in a way that's unwanted. That resistance is huge. And we've got to change our life. We've got to change our beliefs. We've got to change our friends. We've got to sell things. We got to do things. We've got to change something in our life to get what we want. It's only 0.001%. It's puny. Just let that go. Okay? And just release it. And then it leads you to everything you want. Let's unpack this a little bit more. You look at the 0.0001% of whom you really are, and feel unfulfilled, right? Sorry, guys, of who you're not, of who you really are not. And feel fulfilled, right? So you look at 0.001% of whom you are not, who you really are not, and feel unfulfilled, right? Hear this. That 0.001% is unwanted reality. It's part of you. But there's a much larger reality of who you really are. It's that 99.999%. You stare at that 0.001% manifest reality, and you are either happy with it, but crave more, or unhappy with it and desire something else. Do you hear this? You're letting that 0.0001% direct your entire life, your entire existence. Either you're happy with it and you crave more, so you're still staring at it, but you crave more and you're still unfulfilled, or you're unhappy with it and you crave something else. Either way, you're lost in that 0.001% of whom you are really not, and you feel unfulfilled. Who you really are is more of that 99.9999%. It's all you. But you're saying this 0.001% is all you have, is all you are. Hear this, right? Life is about the path. It's about the 99.9999% of unmanifested reality. That's fulfillment. Fulfillment to fulfillment for eternity, right? That 0.0001% is fulfillment as well. It's all fulfillment. You're just looking at it as something you don't want, as unfulfilled, instead of integrating that 0.001% into who you are, because it is who you are. But when you resist it, it keeps you trapped in that reality. Integrate it as part of who you are, and then move and choose what portion of that 99.999% you want to you want to experience next, right? Fulfillment to fulfillment, looking without, right? The 99% unfulfilled, looking within, the 99 plus one. So when you look without, you're feeling that, you're looking at that 0.001% and you're feeling unfulfilled. That means 99.999% of the time, you're unfulfilled. If you use that 0.0001% as a measurement of fulfillment. Hear this, right? You're using resistance as a measurement of fulfillment, right? When you're looking without, when you're looking at the outside world, you're going to be 99.9999% of the time, you're just going to be unfulfilled, right? But when you're looking within, you're going to be 100% fulfilled because you're going to include the 0.0001% as who you are, accept it as part of who you are, and choose again. And then there's the 99.999% of who you already are anyway, right? You are always on your way to one manifestation after another. That's fulfillment. Hear this. That's fulfillment. By manifestation's not fulfillment. That's just a manifestation of what's already fulfilled within you. Hear this. Going from 3D manifestation to 3D manifestation is fulfillment, right? There is no end to who you are and to who you can be, right? This is big. So remember, you don't only perceive reality through your senses, you create it. Hear this, right? Through your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and assumptions, you are filtering out. I've said this in a few videos now. 99.999% of what and who you could be, who you really are. Wow. As you focus on that 0.0001% that your senses can perceive, you're filtering out everything else that you could be, all your potential. By getting locked in, by resisting, by wanting to exclude that 0.0001% of who you are, right? You close off that other 99.999%, right? Being an includer of reality means putting your attention more and more on the 99.999% of what you do want, of that invisible reality. At the same time, integrating and embracing that 0.001% as something that you created, but you no longer choose to represent who you are. You no longer choose it as who you are or who you want to be. When you look at it that way, it's all good. It's all fulfilling. Because even that 0.0001% tells you who you no longer want to be. It's all good. Do you see this, guys? That's how 99.999% of your desired reality is already manifested. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification button. Guys, like and share our videos. I'm loving it. That's how we get our message out. You can follow us on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or you can visit our website at tomkearin.com or besomethingwonderful.com. Guys, until next time, with great love, great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom. See you soon.